Headline off the New Republic: Pambondi flees to U.S. military base after reported spike in threats. This was put up today, March 11, 2026. Shalom. All glory, honor, and praise is due only unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of the great millstone. Salutations to the Lord's elect. And this plays into the perilous times we in, man, and the sedition that's going down in America, primarily in America, because that's the focus. That's where, for example, the bulk of the deliverance is going to occur when Yahweh Shai, the Messiah of the nation of Israel, beginning with his elect, comes back. All right, Israel, or Yasharallah, in the earth today consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You are the Lord's chosen people, his peculiar treasure, the apple of his eye, and that includes the speckled bird, brothers and sisters, the Israelite foreigners. Let's get a couple scriptures. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also that in the last days, right, which we're in right now, perilous times shall come. And that's what's come. Again, this is spread throughout the four corners of the earth, but especially here in America. The Most High has a special type of judgment for you Americans, right, you Babylonians, okay? Perilous times. Now that word, I've got it defined right here on Google. It means full of danger or risk. Yeah, these are dangerous times, man. You know, it's really not a good time to be an Edomite, right? A so-called white person. It's not a good time to be a two-third Jake, right? To be an unbeliever. And it's definitely not a good time to be a heathen. All right, these are perilous times, man. We are in the throes of Jacob's trouble, being in the beginning of sorrows, where you have government officials. And she's not the only one, you know, fleeing to military bases to seek protection. All right. Hang on. All right, since I referenced it, so I'll go ahead and get it. And this is going to be a real quick video, news and prophecy, right? Quick hits. The elder apostle Tahar a couple of days ago talked about quick hits, right? Real quick videos, because there's a lot of things going down, man. There is a lot happening in the news, and like the elder apostle says, you know, you miss a day, you miss a lot. This is the 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, right? Sedition. Once again, highlighted, defined on Google. It means conduct or speech, right? Inciting people, right? So like it says, sedition is the incitement. This is the AI overview. All right. Sedition is the incitement of discontent, insurrection, or resistance against established lawful authority or government. It involves actions meant to cause disruption or overthrow rather than direct open violence. But there is going to be direct open violence. That's going to be part of Jacob's trouble, man. All right. It says synonyms, all right, or similar words include rebellion, mutiny, subversion, insurrection, and revolt. Right, rebellion. The scriptures talks about rebellion. It talks about how that's as the sin of witchcraft, man. Right, and what are you supposed to do to witches? We know what the law says. You know, thou shalt not thou shalt not rather suffer a witch to live. That's the law. Okay. But that's what these Edomites do when things don't go their way. They just revolt. You know, they use their blessing, which is the sword. All right. Yeah, there's going to be sedition, man. Yeah, there's going to be insurrection. It talks about insurrection, for example, in 2nd Ezra 16, where it says there's going to be a great insurrection against the Lord's people. Right. But let's get to this article real quick. Lucky, I got to finish this verse, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes. They're done listening to their authority figures, man. They're done listening to their mayors and their governors, right? They're congressmen and women, right? They finished. They done listening to their president. Okay? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to do whatever they want, man. Right? Let's get it real quick. Remember, she's the woman who said, never mind the Epstein gang. The Dow Jones is over 50,000, right? And this woman actually said that. She-devil, man. She's Attorney General Pam Bondi has left her apartment in Washington, D.C. and moved to a military base in the area after reportedly facing threats from drug cartels and critics of her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. Right? Remember, she said if they prosecuted everybody, remember what she said? Then the whole system would collapse. Well, that's just it, man. The system is getting ready to collapse. And a lot of these lesser elites, right? Because she's juiced in with the Epstein gang, all right, with Nero, all right. They have reservations in them bunkers, man. Okay. A matter of fact, many of them are already in the bunkers. They've been in the bunkers. Okay. They know what's coming. They're gonna leave you average everyday American citizens, right, left holding the bag, right? Judgment's coming to America, man, and they know it, right? The super elites, right? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they know. And they know it's not Jesus Christ that's coming back to this earth. They know Yahweh Shai is coming back. That's why they're hiding. All right, but there is no hiding from the Lord. All right. Matter of fact, the Lord is going to turn his men, his servants, the prophets. The Lord willing, as us, right? Beginning with the elder apostles, great millstone on down. He's going to turn us into hunters, right? The men of the Lord are going to hunt you fucking reprobate demons down. Okay, they know that. They know judgment's coming, man. All right, they think they're going to escape it, though. That's how delusional these devils are. The New York Times, citing unnamed sources, reports that the move took place within the last month, and that federal law enforcement saw an uptick in criticism and threats against Bondi. These threats increased after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was abducted in January. Bondi joins other Trump administration officials who have moved to military housing, including Stephen Miller, that's Slimeball, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth, Army Secretary Daniel P. Driscoll, and Navy Secretary John Phelan. They hiding, man. Again, because they know what's coming. 2/3 of our people are in the dark, man. 2/3 of our people are clueless. And again, these average, everyday Americans, some of them are so-called woke, but they really don't know what the fuck's going on, man. Right? The only ones who know and who can discern the signs of the times are the men of the Lord. Again, his servants, the prophets. And that's the apostles, bishops, and elders of the great millstone. The men of the great millstone and the men who are coming in the same spirit, right, with the correct doctrine. Great millstone's true affiliates. It says the Trump administration has not disclosed whether any of these officials are paying for their new accommodations, although a spokesperson for Noem, the outgoing Homeland Security Secretary, told the Times last year that she was paying fair market rent. Oh, man. Many of these officials were targeted by protesters upset with the Trump administration's policies, because his policies are in lockstep with Amalek, right? The so-called Jewish international banking families, right? That's why these Americans are so pissed off. They realize they've been cut out the blessing, all right? That's why they upset. That's why they want blood, man. Okay? And who's going to take the fall for it? Right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right, you're going to be the fall guys. Right? Let's see. It says, at his previous residence in Arlington, Virginia, Miller was met with organized protests from a group called Arlington Neighbors United, which put up posters with his address alleging he'd committed crimes against humanity. Well, Edom has committed the ultimate crime, right? Edom has stolen the children of Israel, all right? Primarily the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians, the Southern Kingdom, right? And the law for stealing a man is what? You're supposed to be put to death, man. That's the real crime that Esau, Edom, is guilty of, man, right? And he's also committed atrocities against the heathen nations as well. All of them. It doesn't matter, right, if it's a Republican or a Democrat. They have all committed those atrocities, all right? And the ones among our nation who have helped him do that, you know, you got a severe judgment coming to you too, man. All right? Alleging he committed crimes against humanity and wrote chalk messages on the sidewalk in front of his house saying that Miller is preying on families. Well, they're all guilty of child trafficking, you know, heinous, indecent acts, lascivious acts, right? Sex crimes, all that, man. These moves to military bases are a hefty cost to taxpayers. Hex's home on Genesis, it's like a General's Row at Fort McNair reportedly needed more than $137,000 in renovations before he could move in. Plus, military resources have to be expended to keep political appointees protected on the bases while taking away homes from servicemen. Blah, blah, blah. They going underground, man. Okay. And again, Esau is about to revolt. There's about to be an uprising. Okay. Again, that sedition. That's what's coming to America, man. I'll finish it up with a scripture. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 7 and verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, power and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. That's what's come to this land, man. Right? Evil. Meaning bad times. Bad times are here. The time of Jacob's trouble. All right, again, but the elect are going to be redeemed out of it. Right? Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Right? Beginning with the 144,000. And the rest of the remnant, which consists of those believers, man, the men, women, and children among Israel, or Yasharallah, who have been given this gift of faith. Verse 6. An end is come. The end is come, right? This is the end of Esau's age, man. He's at his end, man. He's through. Done, man. Okay, it watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. We at the end. All right. So, Lord willing, you was edified through the Spirit. Hey, repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. With that, I'm going to say shalom. And it's on to the next video.